Something is on the schedule for him to do with this hour. But when we talk about time, time always has a beginning and an end. So when Christ says, Father, the hour has come. To do what? To go to the cross and to complete the work. To complete the work that he came here to do. And that he and the Father agreed that he needed to come here and do for man's redemption. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But in his words, we sort of get this hint that the disciples and the apostles don't get readily. But we get this idea that the hour is going to come and that hour is going to begin and it is going to have an ending. And we all know that it began with his dying on that cross that he's talking about here, going to that cross. And we also know what happens afterwards. We know that he dies. We know that he is buried. And we know that he resurrects from the dead. And we know that he ascends to God on high to sit at the right hand to act as our mediator and advocate from now until the time he returns. This is the hour that he's talking about. His time has come. He has ministered to his people for 3.5 years, to his disciples. He has shared the gospel. He has performed the miraculous. He has done many wonderful things. But he did all these things to lead him up, to usher him into this 1 hour, this one moment, which we have waited for since the creation, since God founded the earth and the universe. He did all of this, all of creation, all that we see, all that we know. He did all these things God created to all lead to one singular glorious event, which is the death of Christ, sending his son to earth to die for the sin of man. This was what Christ's purpose was. Christ came here for one reason and one reason only: to die. To die for sinners, which I am and which all of you are. Now, and it's important to make sure you understand this, because Jesus did not come here to be a humanitarian. He didn't come here to be a humanitarian. But he also didn't come here to play games. So you have a lot of these people, like this person here, you're so wrong about Christ and lies. These are people who either don't and possibly never will have the capacity to embrace what Christ came here to do, and therefore cannot believe in him, will not believe in him because they can't. Eyes blind, ears stopped up. They can't see or hear him. They have no capacity to do so. Men are depraved. Men are sold out to sin and will always be such until such time that the Spirit of God calls them to faith. Like someone said, they have scales on their eyes and they have no ability to see. Now, he goes on and he says to his Father, glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you. Now, think about this for a second. You have so many people who simply want to make Christ out to be just a man. He was just a man. Like, the Muslims will tell you he was a good man. He was a righteous man. He was a prophet. But he was just a man. This is what a lot of people will say. But Jesus said and referred to himself as his Father's son. And then, notice what he says. He asks his Father to glorify him. Christ asks his Father to glorify him. So Christians, let me ask you a question. Do you think that you can be bold enough to say to God in prayer for him to glorify you?